Hello and welcome to the Talk and Tell podcast. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined by.
Hayden.
Okay, so yeah, today we're going to be talking about the 2012 episode from season 1, episode 4, New Friends, Old Enemy. Now, in the last podcast, I've thrown down the things which you said about the episode, and it was actually quite close to actually getting it correct, and I feel like you'll probably realise that now as well. Because the things like I said, which is quite close to it, was the fact that it's going to be an enemy from the past coming back. So it was quite close to that, but the rest of it, he wasn't. What did you think about the episode? Or briefly.
Briefly, I quite enjoyed it towards the end. It was a bit bland towards the start, but towards the end, I really enjoyed it.
Okay, yeah, I would say that this episode, I enjoyed it a lot more than the last one. But my biggest problem with this episode specifically this episode was the pacing. I feel like some scenes were probably not really needed, and then some of the action scenes I feel like were probably a bit paced wrong with in terms of the characters will throw a punch and then they'll stop for a few seconds and then go on to throw another punch. But yeah, okay. So, what did you think about the opening scene with Chris Bradford fighting all the foot soldiers?
That scene, I was a bit confused at first. I was wondering, like, hold on a minute, is this the new ally? Is this the new friend? And of course, it was a bit weird at first. And of course, I quite liked the character because at first I thought it was Shredder himself, but then it wasn't, and I was like, oh, okay, that's like Shredder's right hand man. But okay, but yeah, that was a really bit of a confusing one for me at the start.
Yeah, I have to say that the opening scene, I thought it was like a really cool way to show off this character's skills and stuff like that. But I will say this: I wish for the action scene with him fighting against the foot soldiers was like a tad bit more fast paced, and this is like one of those things which I do feel like because he did like a punch, and then we had to wait a few seconds, and then he go and punch another guy. For me, I didn't really feel like it was too fast paced, but yeah. And then we had Shredder in that scene, and he really has a really grand presence in the whole scene compared to what just happened a few seconds ago. Do you have anything to say about that?
With Shredder and all that, in the grand scheme of it all, he is the antagonist, he is the villain, and you just know that straight off the bat by the way he looks, the way he talks, and just how awesome he looks. Like with his scarred face, you can see, and his helmet, really good. And I quite like that, and how he has that strong presence within the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle world, which I quite like.
Yeah, I'll definitely say for with this scene in particular, he had like a very commanding and impactful presence within this one scene where he was something they don't really be messed with. But we've got Chris Bradford, who and you do see later on in the episode, who's really powerful against all the turtles. It really does make you wonder just how bad and skillful Shredder is. So yeah, after the intro thing, we'll get some scenes about Tulsa flipping around on the rooftops. I don't really have to say too much about that. Do you have anything to say about it?
Not really. No, it was a quite nice introduction scene. Just them having fun as brothers, and of course testing their new skills as a team now, which is quite nice to see, and how they relax in their pastime, which is quite cool.
Yeah, and then yeah, and after that, there's a cat on the roof. I don't really have to say too much about the cat or anything in general, with these particular scenes, but the one thing which I do have to comment on is I'm wondering how the cat got up there because if you look around, there's no real way the cat could have got up there besides from either jumping really far or just going up the building.
Yeah, I had the same thoughts about that. It's like, why is there a cat on the roof? But I was thinking, my first theory was he used the fire escapes to get up on the roof and the stairs to get up there, or just found, or another way, because really
He's a mutant.
cats are really sneaky, and
He
they
could be a mutant.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so yeah, after that, Vattel's on the ground, and then you hear about Chris Bradford's Carter, and then Mikey does his own one. I feel like the Carter is so Mikey within this universe, but like one thing I've got to ask is like, do you think that his Carter is actually effective against fighting someone?
I thought it. Oh, his first car. Yeah, I was thinking like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
that? What is he doing? Is he trying to give you a high five, a handshake, or I have no idea what that was. It definitely looked like he was trying to
Give me like Karate Kid sort of vibes.
karate kid. Yeah. To be honest, I thought he was trying to high five the air at one point. I really had
Um,
no idea.
so yeah, after that, did you have Vattel's fighting the foot and all that? I feel like the whole scene was a really good fight scene, but I do feel like it was like this was also like another scene where like the action I feel like could have been better in terms of it was like more fast paced, but also I feel like because it was in like a really small alley, I do feel like the whole fight scene was like very enclosed and wasn't really too much like in terms of like what they normally do because like in like previous episodes they was jumping around doing flips and stuff like that, but in this one it was like very enclosed. Definitely say about the whole fight scene.
That fight scene, I was thinking, it's like, okay, it could be better, but in the circumstances that they had, they fought bravely and honorably, and of course, they fight with fairness, and of course, they did what they could in this situation. So their adaptability, I quite like about that, and how they quickly adapt to their surroundings. That's what I thought of the scene.
Um, After that scene, the tales go back. Vanilla talking to my Splinter. I don't really have anything to comment on that scene. Do you have any comments on that scene?
With that scene, of course, Master Splinter is figuring out what just happened, and of course, Leonardo is talking about what happened, and of course, Splinter finds out that it wasn't fair, and of course, it is another one of those episodes, one of those scenes, sorry, in which Splinter gives Leo, the leader, another lesson in how they fight and how they train, which I quite like because it's like a fatherly talk, and how to beat a bully. So it's like to beat a bully, you sometimes have to be a bit unfair to win.
Yeah. So after that, there's looking, or Mikey was passing on his comic book. I will say this: that whole scene did really feel very childish for me in terms of like his character. Um, and then after that, Mikey goes online trying to find a new friend. I can only imagine just if he went on like Twitter or something, like how things could go so wrong so quickly on that. Also, did you notice how simpy Donny was with his laptop screen?
Oh yes, yes, definitely. I was looking at it as like, oh my gosh, he's a simp. He's an actual simp. Um, However, I was trying to figure out that when did April move into the Ninja Turtle layer? I was thinking, I know that they helped her and all that, but I was just trying to figure out when she
Oh
moved in
no!
with
So
them.
basically, okay, so basically, she's still living in that apartment we saw in the end of episode two. But like, but I think she'll just go down to Lair, hang out with the guys. It's not really like she doesn't live with them. It's just that like she comes around, and hangs out with them for hours and stuff like that. But the only thing is with the Donnie relationship with April is like over the years, the whole thing has gone a whole lot worse in terms of the fan base and like they do point out a lot more, like okay, so it's like things like when this was first starting off, everyone took it as a joke and all that. But now, but like I was going to say for like because the fan base for like was watching it at the time have grown up, everyone's made this whole situation a whole lot worse. And I can't tell if it's good or like funny or if it is disturbing as it should be. But well, it's definitely something. Um, so yeah, after that, Mikey goes up to talk to Chris Bradford, and Yes, okay, so the thing is with this, I'll just say either like, with Chris Bradford throwing the throwing stars out of nowhere, after someone saying hi, I can only imagine just how many people he's accidentally killed just for saying hi or something like that. But like after the scene where like it fades out, then it cuts to like next scene where Mikey's dodging all the shurikens. I have to say that like that little scene there, I'm not too sure why, but like that specific scene there had like really good animation compared to all the other scenes. And I'm not too. And I think like the main reason why for this one is just because of lighting. And there is a scene later on within this episode that like really looks so amazing with lighting. Do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, that scene where Bradford decides to start throwing ninja stars at Mikey, I was thinking, yeah, this guy is very. He doesn't talk to a lot of people, I guess, but not with those ninja stars. Honestly, I'm surprised Mikey didn't get like stabbed in the chest with one of them. Just the the skills of Mikey's dodging, like I rate that. But it was quite a funny scene to watch. But yeah, as Bradford, it was quite a good scene as well, but not as better as other scenes later on within the episode, which we'll get to soon enough. But I quite like that scene because of how how ridiculously it was all set out. That's what I think of it.
Yeah. So after that, Mikey goes to talk to his brothers about it. Do you have any comments on that? Because I don't feel like there's too much to really talk about here, other than the girls just hanging out and just being themselves really with each other.
Yeah, that scene, like it was quite a bland one in stance, but it was quite
It was okay, I guess.
yeah, it was alright. It was just how he was so excited to get it out all on his out of it. He just wanted to get it all out, and of course, he was making them. He was trying, I say try, to make them jealous of having a human friend and all that. And it was quite funny because that is literally what brothers do. They annoy each other. They make them jealous. But to Leo, Raphael, and Donatello, they didn't really care, to be honest. But I quite liked that scene because it was just reminding me of like how brothers um, wind each other up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and then like after Mikey goes hang out with Chris Bradford, and I have to say this: Chris Bradford within these scenes with like him hanging out with Mikey, for some reason they are so relatable for like everyone. Just because like I definitely have to say it like this: like everyone in their lives always has like that one person who like people don't really care about like in terms of like, things they talk about, but like they hang out with them and like like we know someone like that. Like we don't really care about them, but like we listen to them. So somehow he's the most relatable character within the show. Um, and yeah, so do you have any scenes about the two hanging out? Because I don't think there's really too much to say here. And even from like it does show Mikey's more gullible sort of side when like and when like and you find out that Chris Bradford's more evil and it's like no connection for like oh Mikey should have known that like and like humans don't really like them sort of creatures.
Yeah, with that scene, to be honest, from the first scene within the episode, like people were afraid of him, of Mikey, of course, and him being a mutant. People were afraid, but then, of course, I was a bit weirded out by Bradford's reaction. Like, of course, he started throwing ninja stars at him, which, okay, maybe in that situation I would do the same. I don't know. There's a giant green turtle looking at me. I maybe do the same, but of course, as Bradford gets to know him a bit better,
I'll probably just run.
yeah, that too. But as the episode went on, I thought Bradford was opening up to him, and I thought, oh, this is great. They've got a new ally on the surface. It is great. And of course, we then later find out that it's not who they seem.
Yeah. So after that, Mikey goes back to Hotels and starts within the secret Carter. And once again, we have another Splinter flashback. Yay! But the other thing is here is for like it. So it doesn't really to make too much sense. So the thing, so like the first thing is for like must be some makes out that Shredder was the one who taught Chris Bradford and all that, but like that doesn't really mean that Shredder was the one who created it, or like I'm pretty sure there's been multiple other people who don't even know who like Shredder is who use that type of cutter. So I do feel like that's more just like a coincidence or things for like like Splinter got that correct that one time, and then also like none of the Turtles know or like officially know who Shredder truly is, and it's been like I mean like at least 15 years since like Shredder's or Splinter's story started or ended, um so like. So like Chris Bradford could be Rokosaki for like and Turtles or and like Turtles could know that, but I think it's just more of like one of those sort of like things of like it's coincidence that Master Splinter got very lucky with.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that.
Okay, so and then after that is revealed that basically Chris Bradford is the ninja from the beginning, and I won't lie, I do feel like this whole reveal sort of thing I think it would have made much more sense and would have had like a bit of an impact on the viewer if they actually didn't show it off in that episode or no or like it was just that specific scene after you sent a message that's going to go kill turtles. If they had revealed it after Chris Bradford had taken down Mikey, I do feel like that would have had a much bigger impact on the viewer. Is like, oh, I did not see that coming or something like that. Do you have anything about that scene?
Yeah, that would have been. But I love that scene anyways because that was so cool and how Mikey found out that he was Shredder's right hand man. And yeah, it could have been a bit. It could have been a bit better, but of course, there was a really like copycat moment in which they because when they said because when Chris Bradford said to Mikey, he's like, we've met before, you know who I am," and of course, when Mikey said the guy with the cat, and that really cracked me up, and it was like it's like a Star Wars moment, like Luke, I am your father sort of vibe. That was I was trying to get at that, but it was still good nonetheless.
Yeah, I also have to say that the fight between Mikey versus Chris Bradford and Zeva, I do feel like it was very uneven. I'm not trying to say it was like, unfair or anything. I'm sort of trying to say it's the opposite because, like, I mean, like Chris Bradford could take down the four turtles, with no weapons whatsoever and anything like that, and it's practically by himself, really. But then he goes up against Mikey with an extra person who you also find out that he was able to take on Donnie, Mikey, and all the other ones like, two at a time and still be able to beat them. So I don't understand how in this scene Mikey could defeat them but then in another scene, he wasn't able to. I do feel like the balance between the two, well, like the balance within this episode with the fights, I do feel like was a bit off in terms of like in terms of like the characters, like strengths against one another. But after that, the Turtles do go and rescue Mikey, and I feel like the lighting here was also really good. I think like the like little red light on them going across the rooftops looks really nice. I don't really have much to say about that. Or even after they rescue Mikey, do you have anything to say about that?
That scene I really did like because the lighting just played a huge role in developing that scene, and I really, really liked how it worked. And of course, they use that lighting throughout the other scenes towards the end. And of course, once you get to the end as a viewer and you realize what's going on, and of course, the lighting just portrays it so well in this episode. And that's literally that's I think that's my only positive, like just the lighting and how it was
No,
used.
was that
That
it?
was no. I've got more positives, but that was one of my
Yeah.
main positives. The lighting in that episode was just superb. And of
Oh
course,
yeah.
as we go deeper,
I'll say for like going off that comment, I'll say for like the lighting, which I realised was like it, I would say like most of the time the lighting within this one sort of doesn't really help the show in terms of like the CGI, and it can make some scenes look okay but could be better. But also in terms of like character designs, they look okay, but like in certain lighting they do look really nice. And like as we have seen in this episode, in terms of like the Mikey dodging shurikens or Ratel's rescuing Mikey, or even Ratel's coming out of the water, the lighting looks really good and the animation looks really nice. I mean, like in future seasons when like the Turtles are out in the daytime, the animation looks so much better than it does it does in sewers and all that. But yeah, so after they go down to after Chris Bradford and Ever go down to sewers, the Turtles taking out all the foot soldiers, and I feel like this is a pretty cool scene. It's nothing really too special. It's just I don't know. Is for me, I find it like quite cool and really shows off their whole ninja aspects of the characters. But after Chris Bradford does realize that all the ninjas are gone, the Turtles do come out of the water within like a red light, and oh, that scene in particular looks so amazing, and it does give the Turtles have like a much darker and serious more presence. And if I was to look at that sort of scene, I would say that that the whole show in general would be for a much older audience than where it initially is.
Yes, definitely. I agree with you. That was probably one of my most favorite scenes in the whole thing. As literally, like, they've got the flare and the flare lighting as well, and the presence of them coming out of the water with their white eyes. That sent shivers down my spine. That was a great, great scene. That was. And just a quick one. Before they come out the water, and when of course they take the ninjas out one by one, and of course at first when they look up, I was really concerned that they would. That I was thinking this is a TV meant for younger audiences. They wouldn't have the foot soldiers or foot ninjas hanging from the ceiling on by their necks, and that's literally my first reaction is like, oh my god, they've hanged them. And I was thinking, oh wait, no, that guy's still moving. All right, it's fine, he's
It's
still
not that
alive.
dark.
Yeah, that's my first reaction. I was just
Yeah,
like, that's not right. Okay, that's not good.
but the only thing is for like the foot soldiers are more or less trapped up there. How they get down? Because they do see at the end of it like because Bradford and Ever gets washed away, so they're probably not going to come back for them. So they're probably just hanging there dead. Wow,
Oh
this whole
my,
thing is taking a
this
real
got
dark
really
path.
dark really quick. Oh my gosh, right. Let's move on to the next scene, shall we?
Moving on.
Yeah. Oh my god. Right.
Okay.
What's the next one?
Yeah. So Chris
Let's
Bradford.
go.
Yeah. So So next one is Tells fighting Chris Bradford and Zever. Um, I, I, I thought this whole scene was good enough, and then even when it goes up to Mikey using the cotton on Chris Bradford, I thought it was an okay scene. I don't think there was anything too outstanding within this fight. I feel like it was quite good, and does show off the like all the characters' strengths and weaknesses. I just don't think there was anything too overly special about this whole scene, but like it was a good. It was like a really good end fight for this episode.
Yeah, that was. I'm not gonna lie, it was a good scene, and how like I liked how they were so coordinated in this one. Like they were switching them from side to side, and of course, my favorite bit about it was how Mikey managed
Yeah.
to trap Chris Bradford between the pipe and punched him through the pipe. That was pretty good. But I was thinking you could have also gone and used the stick to hit him in the no square area, if you understand what I'm trying to talk
Oh
about.
god.
Like you
Yeah.
could have done it. He could have done it, but he didn't. He was being honourable in that,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, all right, I'll take that. But it could have played out differently in that episode. But yeah, I quite enjoyed that scene and how it was like choreographed, like they planned it. And I'm just trying to figure out as well, when did they have the time to plan that ambush? I'm just trying to figure that one out.
Because you know those ladies and all that, like they could probably like lure the characters to that sort of situation just because like it's in the sewers, so like it could have gone either one or two ways where it went one way or the other. But like so like if they did go that way, then like because you think about it, like the sewers do have like all these like alleyway sort of type pipes and all that. So like you just could take him out and like so I don't. I feel like it was sort of coordinated and sort of not. I feel like it's more like common sense sort of thing. It's like especially because like Charles has been growing up for like so long and all that. I feel like they'll have like an understanding of what needs to be done. So I feel like maybe a little bit of just coincidence and a little bit of just because Leah said so. Um, and then so here's a thing which really confused me was the fact that when Chris Bradford and Zeva got flushed away, I'm just wondering how because the water takes them down into the bit where the toes like came up from the water or um but like the thing is like there was no like area where the two characters could have got flushed away. So I'm wondering that, but also like but also like another thing is if you do actually look at the pipe, there's no real like they probably would have landed or hit the wall and then like probably died or something like that. So how did they survive? But how did they get flushed away?
I was actually that's a good point because the turtles they come out the same patch of water that they go down, and that is an interesting one. Maybe differential in pressure. Maybe they opened up the water barrier behind them, and the water flowed down. It could have been a variety of things that could have made them fall down, but as the viewer, you don't see that, and of course, it's probably behind the scenes of how they did it and all that. So there could be many reasons why.
Once again, this show is so not realistic.
Yes,
But yeah, after that, Musminter's talking to. After that, Musminter's talking to Toes, and he says basically like the war sort of beginning and all that sort of stuff. And I do feel like that's like a really good scene to really set up like the battle between Shredder and Splinter. And then like my young friends, Chris Bradford. I know it's sort of like played for last, but I do feel like he may have gone a bit over the top with that scene.
yeah, that scene was quite funny. Trying to unfriend Chris Bradford and all that, and of course, I quite like where Ralph reassures him. He's like, "Look, mate, don't be hard on yourself." And of course, Mikey said, "Oh, so it's not my fault then?" He's like, "Yeah, it's definitely your fault." I just love how quickly Ralph
Yeah.
can change his emotions like a snap of a finger. It was just, I quite enjoyed that. But yeah, with that scene, he was like a bit creepy when he said revenge. It's like, I don't know if you can get revenge in that, but you do you, mate. You do you, Mikey.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was the episode. What do you think of it overall?
Overall, I think it was a great episode. At the start, I didn't think it was going to be a good one. I was like, oh, this is a bit, mm, it's a bit boring. But then as the episode went on, there was the plots and twists, and I really like that. And of course, at the end, that fight scene within the sewers that just sold me on that one as they come out the water with their white eyes and the flare lighting, and that was just an awesome scene. It kind of reminds me from like something from either an Avengers or MCU show or something along those lines, and I just thought that is amazing. That's badass. That looks amazing. It's like they're
Yeah.
ready to kill. They're ready to fight. That literally is what they're there for. And I just love how they introduce them into this fight scene. It just looks so cool, and I really want to see more of the lighting effects used to create this ambience of how badass these turtles are. So I can't wait for that.
In the next episode, there's like and a really amazing shot with Leo and the lighting. You're gonna absolutely love that. But yeah, with the episode, I thought like I'll just say it's a pretty decent episode to really set off like the chain of reactions in terms of the Foot Clan with this episode where it's got like sort of like a piece of reaction in terms of like the Foot Clan, Chris Bradford, as ever. And I thought like that was a really good introduction. I would say like to begin, it did also feel like a bit like slow pace, but like, I would say that, like, as the episode went on, like near the end after Mikey got captured, that was when things got really interesting. Just because like so many things could happen, like this could happen or this could happen, and I say, but like I also have to say just because it was like a very short scene, like 5 minutes for the last bit where Mikey got captured up to the ending. I would say it does do more stuff like that, but like for longer time. I feel like that would have made the episode a little bit more better. But overall, I feel like this episode was quite good. And yeah, do you want to hear some trivia now?
Yeah, go on then. Let's see. I want to find out. To be honest, I really want to find out who's Chris Bradford's voice actor is because his voice sounds absolutely
Oh,
amazing.
you're gonna love it.
Oh God, that
You're gonna love
voice.
it, and
That voice is
it
so
was,
cool.
but it was gonna. Yeah, but also the thing is, like, you're gonna sort of hate yourself, and just because, and it's just because, like, you've heard his voice so many other times and so many other things, and like, and after there's like things which, I will say like things he's been in, and you'd be like, oh my god. Okay, so yeah, with the
Come on, let's
trivia,
go. I want to see
Chris
this. Come on.
Bradford and okay, so Chris Bradford and Zeva, and they're actually designed after martial artists Chuck Norris and Jim Kelly. I don't know which one is designed after which because I haven't seen either of those two.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
cool.
okay. Okay, when Mikey is browsing the internet, on one of the tabs is titled "Ain't Hot News: Ninja Aliens." This is a reference to the Michael Bay's controversial Ninja Turtles reboot movie pitch. Just because, like the most or semi recent ones, when it came out in 2014. Before that, it was kept delayed and delayed for like multiple things, and one of the things which had like a really big impact on the movie was the fact that he wanted to change the whole concept of the Turtles completely, like saying like the Turtles were aliens and all that. And it's almost like you know how the Sonic design thing had like a really big outrage from the fans. It was almost like that, but a mini version of that.
Oh,
Um,
really? Oh,
so
wow.
okay, so Chris Bradford's yeah, like I was saying, like you know how Sonic was when the first design came out, and everyone started memeing on it and hating on
Oh,
it.
yeah, that design was terrible.
Yeah, and also some other things which they did change for that movie, or like we're going to, like how Shaw was going to be a warlord, Krang was going to be no things like Krang was in like another dimension as well. The turtles were from another dimension. It was like the turtles were not the turtles. It was just the name and it had in common with them. Um, Oh, okay. So Chris Bradford's foot attire thing, the red thing with his like little chrome helmet thing, is actually based off the costumes from the Mirage comics, in particular the Shredder costume. Um, but also the design is also sort of used in the 2003 show for it was like for some like really skilled foot ninjas. So there is sort of like a similarity with his costume there. Some other trivia. So the site that April goes to in terms of the friending site has some interesting things. Uh, and the site is called My Face Social, which is a reference towards the Facebook by both names, and also a layout of MySpace. The other tab is Mikey's screen that he was browsing through while I was having the conversation with Raph, where Ain't Hot News with Ninja Aliens. Oh no, we've been over that one. A video on the page had a footage of the Snakeweed concept art, which is like sort of hard to make out, but like, I'll probably send you a picture of it later if you're interested in that. It also had the beginning of the episode when Turtles are fighting in the foot. Leo is mistakenly shown with four swords. Two of them are holding, and the other two are in the sheaths. Um, and then when Mikey makes his secret cutter, he makes a spoof of the Kamen Rider version 3 from the Japanese superhero series franchise of Kamen Rider. Yeah. So, are you in? So, are you ready to hear who what the voices are?
Yeah, I'm ready. I want to know what Chris Bradford's been in because that voice sounds so familiar.
I'll do him last.
Oh, you're gonna make me wait.
Yes, it is worth it. Trust me on this.
All right then.
Okay, so we had Donatello. So we had Donatello voiced by Rob Paulson, Leonardo voiced by Jason Biggs, Michelangelo done by Greg Sykes, Raphael done by Sean Astin, Xavier done by Christian Lands, and he's in a canoe voice actor for the series. And I was looking at his IMDb page. By the looks of things, he's been in things which are famous, such as Turtles, Coco, and I think there's like a few other things. But like the thing is, he's not really famous. He's just in a lot of stuff that's still famous. I feel like one of his other big famous roles was he played Puss in Boots in the TV show Puss in Boots. Um, we had April O'Neil voiced by Mae Whitman. We had the cat owner done by Kristen Lands. Both cops were voiced by Karen Michael Richardson. Shredder was voiced by Karen Michael Richardson, and Spencer was voiced by Hoon Lee. Now, time for Chris Bradford.
Ah,
Who do you think
come on.
voiced him?
Ah, I have got. I've got a few. I've got a few, but to be honest, I know what I'm gonna say is wrong, but I'm not too sure. It's so. I don't know. I had an
Who do you
idea.
think voiced him?
I thought he was voiced by
Okay.
so, I forgot his name. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. I forgot. I've actually. I don't know why I had it on the tip of my tongue and now I've forgotten it. I don't. What was it? But just
Oh.
come on. I can't hold it back anymore. Just tell me. I want to know.
The person who voiced Chris Bradford is Clancy Brown. Now, you might know him as the voice as Lex Luthor in multiple DC projects, the voice of Ragnarok in Thor
Oh
Ragnarok,
my gosh! I
or
knew it.
you might know him as Mr. Krabs.
Oh my
Mr.
god,
Krabs.
Mr. Krabs! I knew it. 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 I absolutely knew it. Mr. Krabs. That's Mr. Krabs. Oh my god. Oh, that. I was thinking, it's like, why does that guy? He sounds like a more meaner version of Mr. Krabs. He's like, I need that money. He's like sort of like his twin brother, who's like, I want that money, sort of thing. He's like the mafia sort of version of Mr. Krabs. Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I've been listening to him like other stuff. It feels weird to hear this his like sort of normal voice compared to like other things. Like even in later in the show, he does go through a change with his voice and everything, and it sounds more natural. But to listen to Chris Bradford's voice, it sounds so weird. But like I will also say this. His voice is so iconic. I will also say, and it also is like with Kevin Michael Richardson, where like they are perfect for the role.
Yes, definitely. Oh my god, I can't get a scene out of my head where he just breaks into Mr. Krabs. Imagine that he just breaks into Mr. Krabs. He's like, yeah, money, money, money.
Oh,
That would be funny. They should have just
that'd
had
be
that
like an
in.
amazing crossover.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Krabs and Chris Bradford take on the Turtles. That would be something. Oh, I just can't get it out of my head now. I
Oh my
just
god,
see
that'd be
Mr.
amazing.
Krabs. I'm surprised someone's not made that into like
Yeah,
canon or like a fanfic yet. Honestly, that would be fun to watch.
give give it time. But yeah. So that was it for this episode. Okay, so next week's episode is going to be called. I think his name is Baxter Stockman. What do you think is going to happen in that?
Baxter Stockman. To be honest, I don't know this time. This episode sounds like he sounds like a
Do you know who
businessman,
Baxter
I
Stockman
guess.
is?
To be honest, no.
Do you know
Is
who
he
he
an
is though?
actual no? Is he an actual
Ah,
real life person? Because I thought you were just saying that this was the episode
y-
name.
no. No. He's a fictional character for this stuff, and
Okay.
his voice actor is also that one of those ones where like, and like you or like. like if you see like the roles he's been in, you could be like, oh my god, I can't believe they got him for this one. But like he doesn't use like a voice which you'll recognize. So next week's ones could be quite fun. Um, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
next
yeah,
week is
that's
going to
all I've
be a
got for
mystery.
this episode. Do you have anything else to say?
To be honest, I'm pretty much good. Overall, I really, really liked the episode, especially towards the end with that fight scene in the sewers. That was the one that sold me the most, and how they just ambushed them, and it was just really good how they set it out, especially with that lighting. But overall, I give the episode 11 out of 10. Honestly, good episode all around. Can't wait for next one.
Is it really that good? Yeah, okay, so overall, I'd say that this episode was a pretty decent one. I don't think I'd put it as high as you. I'd say it's like at least a 7, maybe an 8. Because I think the episode is really good. It has like a really good scenes, and also like as you've always said, like the lighting, especially within this episode, really really stands out compared to all the other ones, and really makes the animation and scenes look so cool and badass and everything like that. But I feel like there was things in there which I do feel like they probably could have improved upon. But like, oh, but yeah, like I do guess you could put on, or like you can want to say that about everything, but like this one, I feel like there was like I'll say like this like minor error, or I wouldn't say errors, but like scenes where like it does kind of or edit it like a little bit to make it like, have a bit more of a fast pace to it. But yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this week's episode. And yeah, so if you do want to leave a comment on this podcast and giving your thoughts about this episode in general, I'm pretty sure we're both looking forward to see what people have to say about this one. Then also, while down there, there's also going to be a link for people to sign up to come on and talk about a future episode. But yeah, I've been your host Teddy.
And I've been Hayden.
And yeah, we'll see you next time. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye bye.